This is an important and urgent update for residents in the top end. We now have a new exposure site in Darwin. This relates to the 7th case from the Tanami outbreak. This is the case I announced on Monday. The man in his 50s who spent time in the Darwin community over the weekend, including an evening at the Buff Club. On Monday, we were advised that his time in the community was limited to less than 36 hours until Saturday night. We now know that this was wrong. Teams have been constantly interrogating and reviewing information. We can now advise that he also spent a very limited time in the community on Sunday before he arrived at the Centre for National Resilience. At this point, the person was under a legal direction to remain isolated and had already been scheduled for transfer to the Centre for National Resilience to continue his isolation. Before this happened, he broke the law. He broke the law and he lied about it. We discovered this exposure site after continuing to interrogate and review all possible information, including interviewing contacts and reviewing CCTV footage. The new exposure site is a casual contact exposure site. It is the Stewart Park corner store on Australia Street between 12:18 p.m. and 12:35 p.m. on Sunday, the 27th of June. Any person who attended this site between 12:18 p.m. and 12:35 p.m. on Sunday must now isolate and contact authorities to arrange a test. Stay isolated, make contact, and we will come to you for the test. You will then stay isolated until you receive a negative test result. That's critical. We will come to you and get that test done. There is only one person considered a close contact. That person will be managed directly. This is the same site that's currently listed as a casual contact site for Friday the 25th of June. We now know he went back there on the Sunday. Because we cannot trust all the information the person has given us, he is being re-interviewed, should I say interrogated, by the police, and we'll be doing more work today to be certain that there are no other sites that we don't yet know about. As you know, this exposure site is across the road from a high traffic service centre and the store is attended by vulnerable Indigenous populations. However, this was a Sunday when the service centre was closed. The CCTV footage shows that the individual was wearing a mask during his time in the store. Very few people came through the store during this period, and we do not believe that anybody from our Indigenous communities entered the store during that time. However, there is a risk. That's why it is now an exposure site. That's why anyone in this store during the specific period must now isolate and be tested. I also need to tell you that there was a reporting failure on Monday morning, which led us to give you some inaccurate information on Monday. On Monday, we were advised that the man had been transferred to the Centre for National Resilience on the Saturday night. This actually occurred on the Sunday. We understood it was 36 hours in the community based on him being at Centre for National Resilience at Howell Springs on the Saturday night. The Centre for Disease Control knew it was 36 hours based on a stay-at-home order, which then transitioned into a move to the Centre for National Resilience on the Sunday. That misunderstanding has now been cleared up. It didn't change our work. It was an internal reporting error. Critically, we didn't stop working and tracing his story of events. We did not know about the Sunday Stewart Park IGA exposure site as he did not disclose that visit and his breach of the law. He was under a legal direction to stay isolated until he was transferred to the Centre for National Resilience. He did not do that. The advice of 36 hours in the community was predicated on him obeying a stay-at-home order. So let me repeat so it is very clear. We have a new casual contact exposure site as a result of an individual breaching his isolation order. The risk is not high, but the risk is there. This also shows that we never stop working. We don't just believe a story, we don't take things for granted, we keep working and working to make 100% sure we have got everything. We will keep working through this tonight. Get the contact tracing done, make sure we keep the virus trapped. Depending on what we can learn tonight, this may have an impact on our decision on the lockdown tomorrow morning. I hope that it won't, but I've got to be straight with you, it might. We will keep working tonight and we will update you again in the morning. Commissioner.
Thank you, Chief. We've immediately responded to this information now to ensure that the full movements are deeply investigated. It is readily apparent that a breach of the CHO directions have occurred and that individual is now very much in a spot of bother as it relates to us. I need to stress up front, we are reliant on the information that the community give us, particularly those who are caught up in any of the CHO directions. To those who are identified in this newly announced exposure site, let me be very clear. Stay at home or stay where you are as long as you can self-isolate from everyone that you are with, and please ring the COVID hotline. Let us know that you were at the Stuart Park supermarket on Sunday between 12:18 p.m. and 12:35 p.m. We will then come to you to facilitate your test. The imperative of that, as it relates to the Northern Territory, is we will ensure that your tests are fast-tracked this evening so that we have results to understand what your status is. We are encouraged with the results that I've discussed with the CHO so far as it relates to the broader testing across the Greater Darwin area, the sentinel testing, for want of a better description. It is encouraging in respects of the frequent negatives that are there. We are also now undertaking a full examination of the movements of this individual from the direction of the self-isolation lockdown. To be clear, it should have been adhered to. It is a privilege to be able to be directed to stay at your home because that has inherent trust built in it. That trust has been broken to the community of the Northern Territory, and as such, we will fully investigate this matter to ensure that that individual is held to account for their actions. It is bitterly disappointing because we've had such high levels of compliance, and to simply not be upfront through the opportunities that he would have had to engage with our health professionals, particularly whilst he's been at the CNR, but even with the people from the Centre for Disease Control who had been in frequent contact with him, is bitterly disappointing. It has set us a number of days behind where we would have liked to have been. We could have had this matter resolved very quickly. The CDC have been doing an admirable job in very trying circumstances, and the intent of this direction to stay at home should have served the same purpose as being directed into the CNR. We will learn from that and ensure that they have greater support into the future so that those who are given that direction know what it truly means. Any questions?
Has this man been fined $5,000?
As I indicated, I'm sending people out to conduct an investigation in that. That will include going to speak to him. Certainly what I have seen so far indicates a prima facie case that he has breached, but we will give him the opportunity to provide any justification he feels he may have.
Surely this might warrant potential charges?
As I say, we'll go through the investigation process. We always do that. We will afford him an opportunity to give us whatever justification he feels he may have.
Why was he lying?
I hope to have an answer to that in the not too distant future.
Just in terms of the contacts, do you call the COVID hotline? Is there a different hotline you're meant to call?
Yeah, if you refer to the coronavirus.nt.gov.au website, you'll see the coronavirus hotline, which will put you directly through to our health personnel, and that will facilitate contact from the CDC.
Is he being helpful now, or is he still digging his heels in?
My understanding is that my officers are inbound directly. You have to appreciate he's in the red zone, so they will utilise available and safe techniques to be able to get engaged with him and start going through that. But we want to ensure that we have all information currently available, so we'll fully review his movements to the best of our capability to ensure that we can catch him out if he's going to continue to lie. But I would like to think, suffice to say, where we are here today, he's got a lot to think about, and honesty would be his best pathway going forward.
Is he still at his home?
No, he is at the Centre for National Resilience in the red zone. Thanks, everyone.
Question for Chief Minister. Given this development, how likely is it that lockdown will be lifted tomorrow?
If we can get through this tonight, so if those people who are in the store get this message now, identify themselves, we'll go out to their homes, we'll get their tests, we'll get those test results. I'd like to stay on track for where we were this morning to be able to make a decision. I apologise for the late notice of this exposure site. And so we're also going to do all the work we can to trace those people in that CCTV footage and make sure we get those test results tonight so we can stay on track for a good decision tomorrow. It obviously just narrows down what I was hoping to be able to do tomorrow potentially, but let's get those test results. Let's make this happen.
Does it make you think twice about giving these people trust to isolate by themselves?
Yes. I am extremely unhappy with this turn of events. don't lie to authorities. The best way through coronavirus is absolute honesty. Just tell us your movements, and we can trace your movements, and we can keep the community safe. Just be absolutely upfront with us. This is not where I want to be tonight, and it does show why I believe Centre for National Resilience and Howard Springs has been such an asset for us, and we will certainly be doing some conversations about how we handle some of these stay-at-home orders. I don't want to be in a position where I have to direct all the current close contacts we have from the Buff Club and the Zumba class to Howard Springs. Like, we shouldn't have to send those 200 people there. If we have to, we will. We are doing compliance checks. We'll be monitoring you. We need you to do the right thing by Territorians and stay where you are under that 14-day stay-at-home order.
Do you have a message for Territorians now watching this, probably extremely frustrated and pissed off after a week of doing the right thing, and this one bloke has now potentially spoilt it for the weekend?
I think there are a lot of top-enders out there who have done an absolutely magnificent job complying with this lockdown. There are a lot of businesses out there who have taken an absolute gut punch this week to lock down and keep Territorians safe. They have. Like, lockdowns have impacts. We want to be short, we want to be sharp, we want to be swift. That's how you keep Territorians safe. The best way to do that is with absolute honesty from those people who are involved in these situations. We didn't get honesty this week.